Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of the REDX podcast. We are so happy to have you here joining us, and we're especially excited for our guest today, Jimmy Burgess in Northern Florida. Jimmy, just say hi to our audience real quick.
Hey, y'all.
That's the right way to say that. That is the right way to say that. Jimmy, we're glad to have you here. Everyone joining us, we're glad you're here. Just a couple housekeeping items as we get the show going. This is an interactive experience, so if you have a question in the middle of the show, just go ahead and put it in the comments, and we'll try to get to it during the show. If we don't get to it there, then just join us on our Facebook pages, the Lead Gen Conversation, and our REDX Prospecting Community, where we'll answer all your questions. But we'll try to get to them today, and to always know what's coming up next on the REDX podcast so that you can get the best information from coast to coast on how to grow your real estate business. You just subscribe at redx.com/podcast to always be in the know. But hey, we're here today. You're here today. Jimmy's here today. Jimmy, why don't you just give us an introduction of yourself real quick so the audience can get to know you, and then we're going to talk a little bit social media and growing your real estate really brand and getting listings on social media as well. But first of all, just let us know more about you.
Yeah, Robert, I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here as someone that has used REDX for a long time in my business before I shifted in the position I'm in now. Just appreciate you guys, and really excited to be here. So I am what they call an SOB, son of broker. I grew up as in this business. I guess you could say I went to work for Merrill Lynch right out of college, and then my brother was coming back. Said, hey, I think he was graduating from college at that time. I'd been doing the coat and tie thing for a year at Merrill Lynch. I was like, you know what, maybe that real estate thing's not a bad thing for me, because this coat and tie corporate world really wasn't for me. So I ended up coming back. My brother and I joined, helped our family build that real estate company. We sold that in 2000. It was one of those, you got to understand the market that the agents that I serve here now is different than the one I started in. My brother and I, with one assistant, closed like 109 transactions back in 1998. And it was a grand total of like $7.5 million in sales volume. I mean, we were just killing ourselves with an average sales price of around 70,000. So, so that's not the market we're in today. Got a little burnout, got out of the business for a couple of years, came back into the business, saw the boom in the business in the early 2000s. And actually, just had all of the benefits of that marketplace. Went from making $1 million+ a year selling real estate to, after making bad decisions and everything, finding myself in federal bankruptcy court with $500 to my name, and having to rebuild everything. And looking back now, Robert's probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't want to skate past that. Maybe we'll talk a little more about this, but in reality, it just showed me what was truly important to me. Came back into the business, obviously, with a little bit different focus on what was important as far as the relationships, the people that were important to me. And from that place, about 5 years ago, now I shifted out of sales after 25 years and over $500 million worth of sales volume to come in as, at that time, the chief growth officer for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Beach Properties of Florida. We were about 75 to 80 agents at that time in 2018, late 2017, 2018 when I came in. And last year we closed a little over $1.8 billion in sales volume with around 260 agents. And what's kind of cool though is one of the things, and that's what is to understand the value of education. It's been so important for me. Hopefully we're going to say something over the next little bit that somebody's going to be able to latch onto and apply in their business, going to help them. But one of the things I'm most proud of, if I can just humble brag a little bit, is that when I took over, our average agent had an annual sales volume of $2.4 million per year, which is above industry averages for companies. But even with when you almost 4 times the number of agents that we've done in our company, you would think that would dilute the type of agent. Our average agent sold $8.5 million last year. So from that standpoint, we've seen agents really develop and grow with us, which is fun. And man, I'm just excited to be here.
Man, we're excited. And I hope what everybody heard and can understand is that why I'm excited to have Jimmy here today is we're going to get 25+ years of experience, and not just all the experience, but the different market shifts that have happened over that time.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, and we're getting into March now. And so the first quarters, that shift happened kind of a quarter and a half ago, but so many people have been worried at the beginning of this year, especially those that got into business as of late, of like, what does this mean with this shift? And so we've got Jimmy here today, who's been through multiple shifts back and forth. So if there's questions there, we are going to talk social media, but In fact, I want to make sure we hit on that because that's what we told everyone to come in and talk about. But we're going to work backwards too, because you've got valuable information to share during those market shifts and what can help everybody. But I hope that's what everybody heard, is that like, hey, Jimmy's going to help me out today because he knows a thing or two about what the market we're in now and how to keep growing. So, but let's start.
Sometimes, hey, Robert, let me say this.
Yeah.
If you can find somebody that's made all the mistakes and learn from their mistakes instead of having to make them yourself, that's the ideal situation. So, you know, some of the things that maybe we'll talk about today will be some of the things that maybe I even messed up, that hopefully you can do the opposite of that, or find the thing that will work for you, and you don't have to make those same mistakes. That's my goal. Is as we go through this, I'm going to tell you some things that I know are working right now because they're working for us and our agents. But I also want to say, you know, that this market has changed. And in a changed market like this, if you're a worker, my mentor and is Gino Blafari. Gino Blafari and I were talking about 2 weeks ago, and I asked him, well, what do you think's working right now? And he said, when they work. Literally, this is the market, in my opinion, where if you're a worker, if you're someone that adds value to people, if you're a hustler, if you're somebody that puts their head down, makes the phone calls, has the conversations, I'll promise you what you're doing right now will not only generate business now, but you're gaining market share at a pace you don't even realize. This is a worker's market, and those that are going to work and those that will do the work and add the value to people, I promise, are going to be not only just survive this current market environment, they're going to thrive now and into the future like they can't even imagine.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's get started on social media, because that's something that you're definitely growing right now and helping other agents do. Tell us some things that you're seeing in this market where social media is helping, and then let's get to a couple of the pointers that everyone can get a few takeaways on how to really grow their views, their influence on social media.
Yeah, Robert, let's start from the beginning, because there may be some people here that maybe are just getting started on social media, getting started with video. First off, if you're not doing video, today's the day to start, because it is literally that is that opportunity that you just can't put a price tag on right now. And I'm going to give you kind of my background so that hopefully somebody can see that and understand the process. But really right now, short form video is king. So what is it that you're doing to provide, you know, if it's TikTok or if it's YouTube Shorts or if it's something on Instagram Reels, what is it that you're doing on a daily basis that adds value to people in the form of short form video? Now, I'm going to tell you my process, if that's okay, on production, but let me go back and give you a history, because this is something that I always say, sometimes it's hard to be something unless you see something. So I want to give you the struggle I had and understand that you don't have to go through that I did. So I understood a long time ago, because I used it when I was in sales, that video content was going to be king for me. I did it where I was sending it in my newsletters back, you know, almost 9 years ago with a little flip camera, basically back in the day. But now you can do it on your phone. There's no excuses. There are no excuses anymore. But when I started and I shifted into this position, and I'm gonna just use this as an example because any agent, it'll work for that. It doesn't take agents near as long as it did me, because they can learn from other things, and there's all that out there. So I started where I was just going to start doing video production that was going to add value to agents. Basically, it was driven by the fact that in that position I was in, I wanted to help our agents grow. And rather than telling one person at a time exactly how to do it, I began shooting these videos where I would explain something like 7 ways to generate listings in this environment, you know, how to use ChatGPT in your business. Maybe it's, five ways to increase the buyer lead generation right now. Whatever it is, I just would just thinking about those things. And I was like, man, I wish I would have had that. And so what I did is I began giving that to our agents in the form of videos, and I was just sharing it with our agents. And then we began to share it with the other agents, because I truly do believe as an industry, we kind of get lost in this and we think it's I win, they lose. In reality, there's such an abundance in our business that we should be able to all win. So I began to share these as just out to all of the agents in our MLS. It became a natural recruiting tool that attracted agents, because I wasn't trying to sell them anything. I was just hoping they would help their business and maybe they'd choose to co-broke with our agents. But I had to park those things somewhere. So I had to park them on YouTube. Had no idea about building an audience or doing anything like that. I just wanted to add value. I went back and looked, because I'm speaking on this in about a month at our national convention. It took me 16 months and 83 videos to get my first 100 subscribers on YouTube. Now, I have to tell you, I was not trying to get subscribers. I was not focused on that. I didn't understand what it took. And a lot of cases, there weren't all of the opportunities to watch something like this and somebody tell you how to do it. But so but I had somebody that was telling me that yesterday. It was like, did you not think about video 80? What am I doing here? Because once I did that, you have to understand that was just in 2019. These videos compound and stay, especially evergreen content, forever. So now what I'm seeing now is here we are less than 3 years later. Now it's growing at about 600 to 700 subscribers per month on YouTube. And that wasn't even my intention. Now, if you're purposeful as an agent and you're looking to grow an audience and you got purposeful and you understood, okay, what are the type of videos that are out there? I'll give you a perfect example. If you want to grow a YouTube channel, for instance, for video content, and then I'm going to get to social media. Okay. If you wanted to do that as an agent, I would go follow like a Brad McCallum, or someone that is an agent that is doing this very well. Andrew Undum out of Baltimore. These are folks that are doing this. And what I would do is I would try to figure out what is the content I want to do. I would go to those YouTube channels of other agents in other markets that are doing it well, go under and once you get on their YouTube page, you click the video tab and then click most watched. And when you click the most watched, you will begin to see a pattern on the titles that people in local real estate markets are attracted to. Maybe it's, lifestyle pieces. Maybe it's about how that they're using a thumbnail for that, for showcasing a property. You can watch the presentation that they did and how they started fast or what they said and apply that in your local market. You've got all the examples you need. I always say this, when it comes to video or social media, we don't have to recreate the wheel. We just have to put our own rims on that sucker and spin them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so really, what is it that you can do to find somebody that's doing video or doing social media the way you want? Now let's talk about social media specifically. If you want to build your audience on Instagram, go find an agent in another market that is growing their audience on Instagram. See the type of posts they're doing. Notice how they utilize stories. Notice how they use reels, post. Are they doing a certain type? Like right now, a green screen with an article where they're talking about it that's doing very well. Instagram told us at the first of the year, they came out and said, we're going to focus back more on our foundations. We may have gotten a little video heavy. And what I'm finding is that if you post a piece that is like a meme, or you post something that is like a quote, it does extremely well right now on Instagram. So constantly checking those things, seeing. And then once you've done this for a little while, you can begin to see patterns on what your audience comes in and absolutely likes. Once you've done that, now it's just a matter of feed the beast, baby. Give them what they want. Don't try to recreate all the time. Find what, if all of your audience loves when you talk about restaurants in your local market, give them restaurants in your local market. If they love when you do a 1 minute video about a specific property, highlighting those things, give them more of those. Whatever it is, do those things in a way. There are so many assets out there. Listen, if you go to Google right now and you Google 23 people on Instagram that everybody should follow, I wrote an article and gave you the 23 people. Somebody did also. I'm sure there's tons of them out there. The day of having an excuse, I don't know how to do that, is over. It's a wrap. Everything you need to know right now is on Google, just simply using Google to find it, or going out with ChatGPT and asking it to do it for you. So that's what I would start with on the foundations for social media. The types of posts, again, study other people. The best way to become the expert is study the existing experts, model it with your own authenticity, model it on your social media, and I promise it's going to do well for you as well.
I love that, because it's something everyone can do. Like you said, like you don't need to go read a book. You don't need to go download something. You just go find out what's working. And I mean, as a marketing guy, you always go out and look at what's going on well, and you copy it but make it your own, which is easy, because if you see, like you said, hey, this person's really succeeding talking about restaurants in their area. Well, I can talk about restaurants in my area, and that's unique content now, because I'm in a different market talking to a different audience, and it's me, and it's the restaurants I like. Right. And so you can easily do that. The other thing I really like that you said is, hey, just start doing it now. Like today's the day. Right. And you don't need to have your results tomorrow. You're going to start making videos and see what works and what doesn't. How much time do you set aside time daily to do this? Do you make a whole bunch of videos at once? What do you do because you've got a lot to do. You're a busy guy. So where do you fit this in?
Yeah. So this is my process, and everybody needs to, and this is not how it all started. I legged into these things, but some people are consumers of videos. Some people are consumers that read. Some people like to listen to podcasts. This is a perfect example of what we're doing here. We're recording this video. We're live. There's going to be an audio version that will have people listen to it whenever down the road. It's content compounding is the key thing to do. So for me, I'll just give you my process. I shoot 2 videos per week, long form videos. And when I say long form, for me, that's 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it's an interview. Sometimes it's just me. But I talk about things that I know and I love. You know what I mean? So I don't really have to prepare much to talk about 7 ways to generate listings now. That's what I talk about all day.
Yeah.
So I will do that longer form video. I have a team that actually takes and rips the audio. That goes into the real estate sales podcast that I host. It's got 250 episodes. Those videos are loaded onto YouTube, which has got, 350 videos now. And then what I do is on Sunday afternoons, I pick one of the 2 of those videos, and I just write about a 1,200 to 1,500 word article for Inman News. And I started writing for Inman. Listen, these publications as agents, your local publications, your local maybe influencer type place. We've got a thing called 30a.com, which is basically really showcases the beach lifestyle down here. They got 1.3 million Facebook followers. They're always looking for local content. Whoever it is in your area is looking for local content. So if you can provide that for them, there are ways to get these outlets out. But now I shot one video and I've got that. And then I've got someone else that takes and absolutely, and I pay them, I pay them about $700 a month for them to take and give me 32 short form videos out of the long form videos. So really my job is to do 2 things. I shoot those longer form videos and I write that article. Everything else I have hired out. Now, again, this goes back to figuring out when I first started, I did every bit of it myself. I didn't do everything I do now. I started where I was. Let me just say this as far as social media content. One is better than none. Just get started. Get started and do the one. Then you'll do another one. Then you'll find your pace that you're going to do this at in a way that really fits for you. For me right now, I mean, literally, I'm not doing as much work as I used to, and I'm compounding all that content more than I ever have. So whatever it is for you, and you may figure out that LinkedIn's something that's great for you. Let me give you a little tip right now. LinkedIn obviously is mostly written word. ChatGPT right now is just go on ChatGPT and ask it to say, write a blog article for LinkedIn for me as a realtor discussing the 5 reasons people love moving to Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. And within 2 minutes, you've got your blog for LinkedIn. Go post that and you may want to adjust it. It may not be exactly in your words. You want to make it your words. But y'all, that thing is a game changer, and it gives you the ability, again, no excuses. It's available out there. You're like, I don't know what to do on Instagram. Go to ChatGPT and say, give me 5 Instagram reel ideas and scripts for a realtor in San Diego, California. And it will spit those things out to you. And then you just read the scripts and just do those things on your videos. So just get started. Refinement. I always tell people, here's the problem is most people try to turn the wheel and make it perfect while the car's sitting still. It's hard to turn and make adjustments when you're not moving. Get going 100 miles an hour. And all you got to do is touch the wheel a little bit and you can make adjustments, big adjustments very quickly. Like you said, Robert, just get started. And let the audience tell you what it wants more of and give it what it wants.
And yeah, just get started. And I love, so what you're saying is what we do. I think it's an amazing marketing strategy to start with long form content, and then we call it derivative content. Then we cut that up. What are the golden nuggets in there? What was a good quote? What fits into the 5 tips? And you get that cut up. And now all of a sudden, an hour's worth of work gets you multiple posts and multiple pieces of content across the board. Yeah, love it. So we have a question from Larry, and he just wants to know, what media are you seeing be the most successful right now? So I know you've talked a lot about YouTube, talked a little bit about Reels, short videos, what you said. Is there any platform that you'd say, hey, do this one, or where are you seeing the most success?
YouTube is the king. YouTube, think of it this way. Google is the #1 search engine. YouTube is the #2 search engine, and it's owned by Google.
Yep.
If you don't have that presence, because listen, the first thing people are going to do if they're going to work with you is they're going to go to Google and they're going to type your name in. What does that look like? That means you should absolutely have your Google My Business page on lock, where you can frame that for free, what people are going to see about you. Also, by having that on YouTube, what you'll notice now is in the search, even on Google, you'll see videos pop up. It gives you the ability really to frame some of that content that you're looking for. That's where it ought to be a part of everybody's business, because that's where the majority of the search is now. And so the more you post there, the bigger you build your audience there, the more exposure you're going to have. Again, this is the same thing. Whether you're doing Instagram Reels, take that same Instagram Reel, upload it natively so it doesn't stamp it with its Instagram, load it up to TikTok. Listen, we were talking about this before. It's kind of crazy, man. But I started doing TikTok just in the last couple of weeks. I was like, listen, and the bad thing was like, there's nobody watching that. And then here I am at night going, watching TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I just began taking the same stuff I was doing on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and I loaded up to TikTok. And literally in about 3 weeks, I think it's growing at about, I don't know, about 50, 60 people a day now that are starting to find my content there. Wow. So I would just say content from a standpoint of where you want to start. Foundationally, I would start with YouTube. If you're obviously you're doing video, and if you're not doing video, get started. If I was going to do a platform next, it would be Instagram. And here's the reason why. Instagram has proven to be, they were purchased by Meta now, but Facebook. And so what they've done is if you look, Instagram has been the one that has been able to continuously adapt. So if you look, the reason why there's stories is because that was an answer to Snapchat when it came out, and they've crushed Snapchat. If you look at Reels right now, that was an answer to TikTok. They're not crushing TikTok, but they're making some headway. If you look at IGTV, that's an answer to YouTube. You look at and initially what they started with was the post, that they had, that was Facebook. So what you've got is you've got one platform that does that. And for the average person, that's where the majority of the people are. Facebook is still great if you've got an audience that's a little bit older, but Instagram is going to touch them all. And so if you're just looking for one platform, and then TikTok, listen, if you focus on first-time homebuyers and you're not on TikTok, you're missing the boat. If you're looking to play the long game and you're not on TikTok at all, it might be a good time to do that. If you focus on investment properties, luxury properties, resort style properties like we are at the beach, LinkedIn is king for executives and for higher price, higher in priced property. If that's what you work on, finding those folks there. So it really, ultimately, Robert, what I would do is if you're trying to choose what is that platform that I should be on or I should start on, where is your ideal client? When you can identify who your ideal client is, where they are, go be where they are and adapt yourself. Not that you're adapting and you're changing the message, change the presentation in a way where you're using the old platinum rule. You're giving people what they want in the way they want you to give it to them.
Yeah. And I love that you say start with YouTube for a lot of reasons, but I think one of them is that's where you can make foundational content, right? That's where you make that it's set up for longer form better than all the other ones. And then and then deciding which direction you go based on the audience you want to talk to, you can take content from YouTube and either cut it up or put it in the format that makes sense for that platform that you choose. I like that.
Right.
That's really good. Yeah. Well, time's gone by really fast because you're fun to talk to. So that's easy to do. But so one of the things you've told everybody is, hey, go find somebody to follow. So people want to know, how do they find you so they can go look at your YouTube and others. So what's the easiest way to find you?
Yeah, just type my name in. I mean, this is the thing too. I would love for agents to go out and type their own name in and see what comes up on Google. If you type my name in, hopefully you're going to find me on YouTube. You're going to find all of the different social medias. But go to YouTube and just put in Jimmy Burgess. You can go to Instagram and put in Jimmy Burgess, TikTok the same way, LinkedIn the same way. Hopefully I've built, I've tried to do it in a way, and I think everybody should build it in a way that it's easy for people to find you. As agents, this is a contact business, and the worst thing you can be is a secret agent. So I would just encourage everybody to get out there and find their way to do that. And if you want to find me, hopefully you can find me just with a simple Google search.
Practice what you preach, man. Yeah, that's what you said everyone needs to do, so they can find you there at Jimmy Burgess. One last question, and then take the last word. But Marianne just wanted to know: did you do all your own production in the beginning before you started hiring?
I did, and that was purposeful, and it was a lot of investment of time. But I've always said, you can't expect people to do something unless you can oversee it in a way that you want it to be done. So I had to make all the mistakes myself. I learned to do video editing. I learned how to load things onto iTunes. I made sure that I knew how to dissect some of these videos into short before I ever asked anybody else to do it. The great news is that literally all you got to do is go to YouTube and say, how do I edit on a PC long form content, and you're going to have some 12-year-old tell you exactly how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's out there. So the beauty of it is you can learn anything now on YouTube. And so I would suggest, you want to leverage your time in a way. You can always hire somebody, but I want to have a foundational understanding of what it takes before I ask somebody else to just do it. That's just me personally.
That's great. I mean, you know yourself, and then when you hire somebody, you can train them in a way that you've learned, and they might know more than you, but you'll know what you like and how you want it done. So that's good. Jimmy,
now, Robert,
yeah, go ahead.
Let me add to that just real quick. The thing that I would say is with those that are out there and they're like, well, I just don't want to learn that. You don't have to. That's how I do it. There's plenty of opportunity for you to hire somebody now, whatever it looks like. Everybody's different. So the way that I learned it may not be the best way for you. Just do it. Just do it, whatever that looks like for you. And you're going to get some results.
That's awesome. Jimmy, thank you for being here with us. I do think that everybody, we went through some real tactical stuff for people to be able to implement right away, including like, hey, if you're not doing video, do it now. But before we wrap up and tell everyone bye, is there any last tidbit you want to leave with the audience?
Yeah, I would just say this: somebody's going to have their best year this year. Why not you? Why can this not be the best year you've ever had? And I'm not just talking about business. Somebody's going to have the best year in their life. What is it that you can do to have the best year in your business, in your marriage, as a parent, as a child, as a friend? What is it that you can do to be the best version of you? And it's not just going to happen by accident. It's going to take you having a very clear vision and having action steps and taking action. I just want to encourage everybody. Again, somebody's going to have their best year. Let it be you this year. And I promise, if you just take those action steps, it's amazing what the world does is it just starts aligning other people around you and situations that you never saw coming that end up literally leading to the best year of your life.
I love it. And everything that you talked about leads up to that. I mean, this market is for workers. It's for the people that are going to put in the effort, and those that put in the effort are going to have their best year. And that's going to happen this year. Jimmy, thank you for helping everybody out today and helping people grow their social media and just get ready and motivated for the best year of their life. I love it. Thank you everyone else for joining us today, for tuning in, whether you're listening here on YouTube Live, whether you are listening in your car, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And you want to hear more, just go to redx.com/podcast. You can see who's coming up next and find all of our library of our past podcasts as well. And find us on Facebook, just like Jimmy said. We have our REDX prospecting community where we can continue this conversation and answer all of your questions that we didn't get to today. But we will see you again next week, same time, same place. Jimmy, thank you again for being so generous with your time. And everyone have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Robert.